Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Discord syndicate degenerates and ducks and squirrels, welcome to this here episode of the Discord syndicate hosted by the Degen Roundtable. My name is Will Stevenson. I am one of the hosts of the Degen Roundtable, and I'm going to be taking over this here ship in on behalf of the Captain RG3 and a wild SJ who are out conducting business and getting all sorts of tomfooleries and hooliganisms all taken care of today. And I'm also going to be joined by my super duper famous Degen Roundtable amigo, Mr. Nate McGettit. Mrs. Producer, would you go ahead and bring up my fantastic amigo here? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Nate McGettit. Ooh, nice shirt, broski. I fucking love your style. That is fantastic.
Oh,
What's
it's a fucking
new and
sex.
exciting with
Oh,
you,
man.
friendo?
It's a yeah. So, hello everybody. I am Nate McGettit with the DJ Roundtable, and this here is Will Stevenson, the first mate. He is officially the first mate, by the way, now because we were talking with RG3 out in New York, and he's like, he's the captain. Well, who's this guy then? Doesn't that look like a first mate to you? So he's
I guess
officially.
I could be the first mate. I wouldn't mind being like just a little swabby, just sitting down there like scrubbing the decks or like fucking charging the cannons or doing the whatevers. But fucking, it's a good ass time playing the pirate roles and doing all the fun stuff and
Yeah,
doing all
well,
that
it
craziness.
sucks to be you because you're just like, oh, all I want to do is go scrub the deck and all that. And the captain's like, nah, you're being my right hand man. Let's go.
What a pity. What a
Yeah.
pity it is. We've also got behind the scenes, we've got Mrs. McGettit being our producer tonight. She's standing in for a wild Estee show. Shout out to Mrs. McGettit as well. Behind the scenes, running the cameras. We've got the thumbs up from her. Bro, Nate, I had a thought while we were over on the for the folks at home, we just finished doing our DJ Roundtable book club. And I was thinking, man, you know, it'd be really funny is if I had like an apple in this hand and I'd be like, hey Nate, you want an apple? And I just go like this or whatever, but like our cameras would have to be a little bit farther away from each other than they are right now, and then you just be like, oh yeah, and then you like reach over that way and you like have an apple sitting there or something. You just like grab your own apple and I like drop mine and be like, here you go, bro, you know, have an apple or whatever. I thought that'd be a fun little stream shenanigan and thing to do. But enough of that. Mrs. Producer, I believe that they do chat interactions and things like that on the Discourse Syndicate. So we'll go ahead and do a quick round of the chat
Implement our
motherfucking
own.
shout outs,
I love it.
where we interact with the folks at home who are spending their precious hours. We've got Moonmutt, FN Hangout. Let's fucking hang out. Good to see you, Moonmutt, an IRL friend of mine. Glad to have you here with us as well. Holy smokes, there's a lot going on in the chats. We got Melv Tony. Good evening, fellow Hexicans. Actually, Mrs. Producer, there's a lot of shit going on here. Just bring them up, and if there's anything super cool. And oh, look at that. We've got Moonmutt again. Mrs. Burkett, would you mind bringing up Mr. Crispy's first comment there? 15
Crispy
minutes after the
man.
top of the hour. Quattro Cinco. Don't forget to fucking stake Quattro
Yeah.
Cinco Hex for Quattro Cinco days on December 2nd. If you can't do it, do 55.55 to make this symbolic statement. I do believe that September 2nd or December 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, that will be the oh shoot, is it going to be 5 years? I think that's 5 years that Hex will have been out because it came out on December 2nd of 2019. So December 2nd of this year will have been 5 years of Hex being released. So yeah, stake Quattro Cinco Hex on Hex's birthday, and then 15.2 years from now you can get some cool shit going on. So shout out to you, Crispy Man. Good to see you, amigo. We've also got Bitfinex. If you can't afford Quattro Cinco Hex at these prices, you're not gonna make it. Yeah, that's true. Let's
Love
take a
it.
look. I'm gonna man, dude. I was looking at the charts earlier. I pulled up GoPulse earlier right before the show, and it's showing like communist, which is a hex derivative. So like shout out to the gents over at Com over there. I don't know who made it, but I know it was some Hexicans that made it. It's essentially it's very similar in sentiment to like the icosahedron stuff. You basically get communists for having staked hex on the native service. But Com is up 125% on the daily. So that's pretty fucking cool. Shout out to all the baby dolls out there who got some Com in their wallets and are doing all that good stuff. But yeah, like prices are good, things are going well. We just did the Richard Hart hearing, like what that was like a week and some change ago, almost. Yeah, that was no shoot, that was just over a week ago. That was last Thursday. Holy smokes! Yeah, that we all sat in that courtroom and we listened to Ben and Mr. Goldie present their arguments against Richard Hart lawyers and things, and then the judge wasn't having any of it. By the way, shout out to that judge. She was a smart cookie, bro. That was a good time.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. You know, you guys, you and Zenith, along with SJ, actually like reenacted that whole thing. That was fascinating. I was at work at the time, but I'm just sitting here like I'm plugged in and I'm just kind of giggling along because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Will, you played your part really badly. Okay. The reason why was because you were just too well spoken. All right.
Yes.
You weren't like stuttering at all and like trying to figure out how to say something without sounding like an idiot. You know, you were just kind of
stuttered more then.
Yeah, you should have stuttered.
Like the actual SEC guys. Yeah, they did not do a very good job of communicating well to the judge and whatnot at that hearing. Shout out to everyone who was able to make that, by the way. We had 76 motherfuckers over at that event. That was super. Oh, my camera's fuzzy. We had 76 people over at the actual trial, at the actual event. It was super cool, super awesome. I fucking loved seeing each and every one of you guys. If you guys are out there, y'all should totally hop on the FN Hangout and come chit chat and tell us what you thought about the trial.
I want to hear from you guys.
Yep, doing all that stuff. Mrs. Producer, if you haven't already, go ahead and throw that link in the live chats and in the description and wherever. I don't know where where RG3 and SJ put the link to join. But if anyone out there is watching the FN Hangout right now and y'all want to come on and shoot the shit and hang out with us and talk about Hex, talk about Richard Hart products, talk about stuff going on in the ecosystem, projects that are going on. The thing that I've got that I want to talk about is I want to start off this conversation with the fact that our very own Nuclear Herbs, the legal representative for the PulseChain community, he is making moves to become the U.S. ambassador to Finland. For those of you who didn't know, the United States currently does not have an ambassador for Finland. And our good friend, Mr. Nuclear Herbs, noticed this. And so, Mrs. Producer, I believe in the private chats, I dropped the link to Nuclear Herbs status. Can we do a share screen for that? Let me go ahead and pull up the actual Nuclear Herbs on X. Let's see. There it is. Now I got to do the present screen, share screen.
Well, you're getting that ready. I wanted to pop in here and say really quick that today is also a very special someone's birthday.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to our very own Nate McGettit right over here. Nate, you're turning what? You're 16 years old today, right? You're
at least 60, yeah.
Drive? What's that?
At least 60, yeah. I'm on the other side of that where I can't drive anymore.
Excellent, broski.
I'm not allowed on the road.
Happy birthday to you, Nate. How's your birthday been so far? What's your favorite thing about what's gone on today?
Lots and lots of work. Just literally lots and lots of work. I have not stopped working since I woke up. However, I'm going to yeah, okay. So I have two gifts. Are you ready for this, guys? You are going to love this. All right. So number one, this is a Wisconsin only beer. Wisconsin's where I grew up, and it's fabulous. It's one of my favorite beers of all time. But you know what I just got done doing? As you were talking, Will.
What's that?
I unstaked my first ever hex stake.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you were telling me it was on your birthday and whatnot.
It's on my birthday.
It was your first time unstaking hex. How did it feel, bro?
Yeah, it felt like I was clicking a button. No, it's fantastic though, because
but now you got hex in your wallet.
Yeah, that's a lot more hex, hedron, and everything in my wallet. I think it's fantastic. And actually, so that's only one stake. I have several stakes actually that are going to be coming out today. So I'm probably gonna be doing that while we're streaming here on stake and all my stuff. Nice. But I think it's really cool because I originally put this in when I first bought Hex, which was in I think it was August of 2022, and I was like, I want this to come out on my birthday. Should it be 2025 or 2024? And and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my first Hex stakes to come out in 2024. And so here we are, this far, guys. Can you freaking believe it? Like we went through all of. You guys are all still here. We went through all that pain, all the downside and everything. And here we are. We're starting to go up again. Hopeful. Everybody is bullish and ready to freaking go. And I've just unstaked my first ever Hex stakes. Listen, does life get any better? I mean, come on. Oh, you know what? I know how it can get better. As soon as Hex hits $1. When we hit $1, man. That's
wow.
better.
T-share rate has wait a minute. Melv Tony, he had just posted up something about it's real close to getting 39 or 38,000 UNCH. What the hell is UNCH? Is that on a different blockchain? That's not PulseChain. I don't think that's Ethereum hex. Melv Tony, I would like more information on it being 38,000. That's interesting. I wonder if that's on Ethereum. I could have swore that that Ethereum hex was cheaper at the T-share. Oh, unchanged. Oh, I wonder if that's Ethereum proof of work. If that's what you're referring to, that would make sense to me because Ethereum proof of work is where Hex first launched, and then Ethereum changed to proof of stake, and then Ethereum after that changed to then we launched PulseChain. So that would be my guess, unchanged. Unless he's talking about, man, I am super uninformed when it comes to like all the technical stuff. But shout out to you, Mel Tony, for dropping all the number or all the information and all the stuff in the chats. He's always hopping in there with the price updates and doing all that good stuff. He is our live information gatherer. So shout out to Mel Tony. I see that he said good to see you earlier to me and to Crispy and to Hector Protector. That's awesome. We've also got some other fam in the crypto space. But speaking of fam, the thing I want to talk about, everybody, is this going on right here with Mr. Nuclear Herbs. So for those of you that don't know, Nuclear Herbs has this here forum policies for people. He is putting up like a little, it's like a community driven survey almost to appoint Nuclear Herbs as the ambassador to Finland. So if you guys click on this link, so anyways, you go to Nuclear Herbs, like his public profile and everything. And again, Nuclear Herbs is super fucking awesome. He is our PulseChain lawyer. He's super crazy cool. But he's talking about voting and everyone's doing the voting and everything. So he's running for ambassador to Finland. And he's got some other posts out here where he describes it. He's like, "Hey, look at this. Check it out. The position's vacant. I want to fill it. So let me do the job. Thanks to all of you who voted so far. And here's the link to vote." I'll go ahead and click on this for you guys and then share this tab instead. So currently, the position of ambassador to Finland is vacant. Nuclear Herbs, an attorney who posts regularly on X, would like to be appointed the position. A former Navy officer and attorney who spent more than 20 years in practice, he is well qualified for the position and is eager to represent the interest of the United States overseas under a Trump administration. I'll go ahead. Oh shoot, I gotta log into this one. I already voted on the other thing, but I should vote on this one too. Let me see if I can sign up for that. Oh man, this is gonna be a whole process. I'm not gonna do that online, so I dox myself. But yeah, you guys should go check this out. Go to Nuclear Herbs. I signed on this tab over here. I went and I followed this this little thingamabob. This is the one that I clicked on, and I went and voted for him. So you guys should totally go vote for Nuclear Herbs and see about getting him appointed as the United States ambassador to Finland, which would be fucking awesome and super sweet and everything. So shout out to our good buddy Chuck, Nuclear Herbs, PulseChain lawyer, and all that good stuff. Nate, do you have any thoughts on this tomfoolery and on these shenanigans? Mrs. Bruce, I'm gonna go ahead and share screen.
Yeah, no, I'm over here thinking to myself, like, what is he gonna do? Like, what's the point of being an ambassador?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know what ambassadors do.
I don't
know what I'll do about that though, since I don't know the question. What does
Chuck, if you're
the
watching tonight, why don't you hop on and tell us all about it?
ambassador? I'm asking Grok right now. What does the ambassador to Finland do? What does the U.S. ambassador?
And I guess more importantly, does it pump my bags?
I mean, I'm sure that if Finland's doing great stuff, it'll pump our bags. All right. Oh man. Oh wow, it's writing me up a whole fucking list. Okay. So, oh damn. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. I'm gonna basically list you guys off the bullet points. So they take care of diplomatic relations. They do policy advocacy, security and defense cooperation, economic promotion, cultural and educational exchanges, consular services, public diplomacy, assisting U.S. companies, reporting to Washington, engagement in international occupations. And apparently, ambassadors also deal or they work closely with United States citizens that are in other countries. So if there's other U.S. citizens over in Finland, then y'all can go and hang out with Nuclear Herbs and have a good time. Tervetuloa and all that good stuff. So shout out to Nuclear Herb. Shout out to Chuck for going and doing all this awesome stuff. I think it's crazy awesome that he is volunteering for that spot. And I think that it's kind of a joke, but it's also like if that becomes accepted, that would be super cool. We get another win in the PulseChain community. Not only did we get the cool president elected who's like all about freedom and sovereignty and pursuing like individuality, very like, you know, Richard Hart-esque talking points, all having to do with like US Constitution and making individuals more powerful and stuff. But we've also like if we can get a an actual, you know, Pulsican, Hexakin and certified amigo in the government as well, that would be too cool and too awesome. So shout out to you, Chuck. Good to see that you're out there. And man, I am just super stoked for everything that's happening in this ecosystem. Nate, what do you think are some do you have anything on your mind that's been going on in the Hex ecosystem lately that deserves recognition and talking aboutings?
Well, other than prices are going up, guys, right? Other than that, we do have Access Alive that's coming out now, that whole app. So
yes.
Do
you want to talk a little bit more about that? I don't know exactly what it is. I didn't know he was coming out with an actual app. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the app itself it's quite the thing. I'll try and give some of the sort of the cliff notes. So basically, the idea behind it is that with Access, you can burn Access to get Alive. Okay. And because Access is limited amounts, that means that once it's burned, it's forever gone, you know, so that's a scarcity model, right? It's ever deflationary. And then Alive, you end up getting Alive with it. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was you can do with it, but I believe it's basically it's a token where there's different things you can do with it.
It's
tied.
I know it's tied heavily into communists, and I remember the idea that Axis has talked about on stream and in person is that the whole idea is he wants to lift up the Hex ecosystem by doing whatever he can in his own little ecosystem to create cool tokenomics and cool minting and burning things that are heavily liquidity bonded to tokens that are heavily liquidity bonded to Hex. So the idea is that he's doing this whole thing to help bring value to the Hex ecosystem rather than like extract value from the Hex ecosystem. That was my idea. Super simple.
Yep. The idea is that Communist is supposed to be an incentive for people for later stakers of Hex to it's an incentive for them to actually get into Hex and to actually stake out Hex, right? Because only technically speaking, the way that Hex stakes work is that you're really only truly rewarded if you buy when Hex is low, right? And or if you're an OG. So because of that, you know, what happens when, you know, Hex is a freaking dollar and people, they really can't get the amount of Hex that we're buying it at half a penny and then they're buying it at $1, right? So if you think about that, there's not really too much incentive to go staking the Hex again. And that's something that we definitely want, something we definitely need, right? So the idea is this, that Communist is going to try to incentivize people to actually stake because you get a little bit of a bonus. Hedron is also in the same sort of boat with that. And then if you include those two together, then you also what Axis is trying to do is he's trying to be kind of like if you imagine like if you have a balloon, right, and you continue to inflate that balloon, eventually, you know, whatever it's attached to goes up, right? Well, what Axis is trying to do is he's trying to make his Axis token like a balloon, okay? And so because he's making it a balloon, what he wants Alive to kind of like be like it's filling it up, you know, like this, and then it's attached to Communist, which is going to be attached to Hex. And the idea is the balloon is going to go up thanks to Alive, thanks to Axis becoming more scarce, which then is going to bring up Communist, right?
Yeah.
Because they all go together like this. And with that becoming more expensive, that's now the Communist is now an incentive for people to now go buy Hex and then stake it, because then they can get this thing that's going up with it, you know? So that's kind of the main idea, because Hex is really big, you know, so it's not necessarily you know, a good idea to if there's no reward system, right? It's a bad idea to just, you know, go out, buy some Hex and then stake it. People aren't going to want that. It doesn't matter if it has, you know, 40% APY. people don't want to stake it out for 15 years if they've only got like, say, 1,000 of them, you know? So you need more incentive for people to actually do that. But that is the idea. And I think it's really good. It's part of what Axis has been working on. Actually, the Fire Whale, Randy, Crispy, and Axis, they've been working on, you know, the solid index, and kind of like how Marie has been doing with, you know, the Atropa Dev has been doing with liquidity bonding, basically creating an entire web, right? Where if one starts going up, they all start going up. You know, the idea that I like to put it is kind of like you have a pool, right? A literal like swimming pool, and then there's a bunch of like cups in it and all that. Okay, and right, and there's flotation devices in there, and so when you start filling the pool, they all go up together, right? Kind of like this tide raises all boats. You know, the thing is, with the way that it works though, is with all these other cups that are in there, you're pouring water into these separate cups that then flow over and then fill up the pool. See, here's the thing though, some of these cups are a little bit bigger than the other cups, right? And so the heavier ones tend to flow maybe not as fast, you know, where other ones go faster. That's what you would call leverage. And something like, say, an Icosa is going to be a leverage on Pulse itself, you know. Actually, I had someone. So a little side tangent here, because I know I'm sorry if I'm causing people's eyes to kind of glaze over a little bit, but a little side tangent here. I had somebody the other day, and he was talking about like, hey, so when are we going to start seeing the Pulse alts, you know, going up? Because you know, I would think that they'd be going up by now. And I had to tell him, hey, you need to watch for the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear goes first. Okay, what's that going to be? It has to be Pulse. Okay, and what's the tip of the spear for Pulse? It's Ethereum. All right, so we're literally just waiting on Ethereum right now. You know, like Vitalik, dump your girlfriend, bro. Stop buying her Gucci bags with your Ethereum. Let's go. We need the price to go up, man. But but yeah, so we're just kind of waiting on that right now. But there's been a lot of positive movement currently, and I do believe that this is going to stay. Okay, this is Pumptober or Moontober. My birthday month happens to be the Pumpamentals favorite game. So yeah, I do believe that this is we're currently in a good position. It's kind of like just a hold and wait sort of deal at this point.
Hell yeah. Speaking of things like speaking of things stopping, on the flip side, there's other things starting. I was scrolling through and checking out like what's like brand new in the PulseChain ecosystem. I just read a tweet from David Feeder. Shout out to David Feeder, by the way, one of the fucking OGs out there that is helping PulseChain validators be more real for everybody. Not only is he out there like offering his own validating service, he'll do cloud validating for you where he'll run all the machines and everything, and you just get the reward sent off site, and he charges a small fee for like actually providing the service. He also sells validators to people. He sells the I don't know if it'd be called an ASIC miner or if it's some other computer hardware thing, but he basically sells all of the hardware needed for people to spool up their own validators. But he's also working on getting more validators up and running where he is at right now. So that's pretty freaking cool. And he worked with the Degen protocol. Shout out to those guys as well for creating validator NFTs. If you guys are not wealthy enough, or you don't want to spend 32 million pulse to spin up your own validator, you can go and buy some NFTs over at the Degen protocol, thing, and you can have 1/64th of a validator for 500,000 pulse. So like David Feeder's going through some absolutely awesome stuff, and that's another cool thing that's happening right here right now. Nate, have you done anything with validating? I know that the Project Pi guy, he was with us as well over at the PulseChain tour. Did you have a chance to speak with him at all?
No, actually, when it comes to validating, I am not a part of that space at all.
Yeah.
I do have a thing on this where I was talking to Robert about validating because, you know, shout out to you, Robert. You're excellent. It was great to hang out with you out in New York. We went on a sandwich run. It was fun. But the thing that you need to understand is that we're all at a different place in our investing career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, right now, it's not a good time for me to go validating That's not the time. Now, I will say next cycle, I think it'll be a great time. And I do, with my longer term plan, I do intend on validating. Absolutely. However, as of right now, the way things are currently,
Yeah.
it's not a good time for that.
Really? Okay. What is the reasoning for that? PulseChain is as cheap as it's a pretty good buy zone. So if folks are looking to scoop up a whole bunch of it to start spinning up the validators, like this is a good
Absolutely.
buying opportunity. It might not be a good time to lock the pulse away into a validator because I don't know how all of that stuff works, but this it is a good opportunity if people need the raw material to spin up a validator, then it's a good time to buy the fuel anyways. That's how I see it and how I take a look at it.
Yeah, I have great respect for validators because here's the way that I have a tendency to look at things, right?
Hmm.
So as of right now, PulseChain is a city. All right. Now, what does a city need to run properly? Well, one of the things it needs is, like, say, electricity. Okay. So, what is a validator? A validator, I see it as kind of one of the mainstays, one of the main utilities that is going to help the city run. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the electricity works, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so I have great respect for people who validate because that's helping the city to run properly. Otherwise, what is it? It's a dead chain and nobody cares for it. So you guys who are validating, you're the
Hmm.
ones who are helping out the city the best.
Yeah, yeah. That's like they're powering all the transactions and everything. And we've got something like last I remember the stat was like over 45,000 validators. It's probably way higher than that by now. I would presume it's somewhere in like the 48 or 50,000 validators spun up all around the world and doing all that
Mhm.
good stuff. But it's like there's a lot of people out there that are paying the cost and doing the and they're getting rewards for it. It's not a sum zero it's not a sum zero thing, but like oh shoot, what was that? I thought I just scrolled past something that I thought was relevant. What was I talking about? Validators. Yeah, you get rewarded for it, but it's like I think 4 to 8%, APY or something like that, which is that's a decent price. It is what it is. And I think that PulseChain, if I'm not mistaken, PulseChain is an inflationary token, but it also deflates anytime that there's a transaction. So similar to Ethereum, the amount in circulation can go up, the amount in circulation can go down, just depends on how many people are paying how much for gas and how busy the network is and things of that nature. So I'm not going to try and talk on that too much because I am not a subject matter expert when it comes to PulseChain validations and stuff. But I thought that was pretty neat as I was scrolling through the Twitter. I'm taking a look at these comments right here, and it says like we got from Guitar Gardens. You still have, or you can still have 50,000 validators and have a dead chain. So far, it's just useless memes and rug pulls. Well, you are free to think that, Mr. Guitar Gardens, and I wish you the best. Um, the chain is as valuable as the people make it. So if the folks are coming on to the PulseChain and they're buying the hex and they're staking it, then awesome. If the people are coming onto PulseChain and they're creating meme coins and they're buying and selling it, awesome. As far as I'm concerned, any action is good action. It's better than absolutely nothing. As much as I hate to see people infighting and doing all sorts of the craziness, like it is it's like when you see your brothers tussling with each other in the living room and they're kind of like beating each other up and pulling each other's hair. It's like, I wish you guys wouldn't do that. But as soon as it comes time for the for like the family to come under attack, then they snap out of it and they lock arms and they go like, all right, now we're charging the enemy or whatever. So it's good for the time being, and I wish everyone would be more fun and have more positive vibes and everything, and do all that good stuff. But
Well,
those aren't.
okay, so what he's talking about is useless memes. Now, here's something that people don't understand.
Uh huh.
Memes are a technology.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing that people get confused about. They think about technology as like
The
some
coins
sort
are
of
memes.
utility thing that is going to help out. I mean, think about Uniswap, right? Last cycle we had, what was it? We had DeFi season, right? And it was the technology of Uniswap. Well, was it really the technology of Uniswap, or was it the technology of being able to create your own coins and therefore create your own cultures, create your own communities? I think it was the latter. Okay. Because ultimately when people, especially this season, people or not this season, sorry, this cycle, people are really, I'm just going to say crypto bros are a little bit upset right now at the fact that it's just memes. literally memes. Outside of memes have done an overall of 14,000% just in general, right? It's the number one narrative in all of crypto so far in this cycle. What's behind that? You have real world assets and AI, and those two have done like a 5x basically, right? Like 5,000. So when you're looking at that huge stark difference, it's like, what is going on here? And so when I hear someone say, oh, it's just useless memes, well, I'm sorry, but memes are what everybody's being attracted to right now. Guess what? Memes was also one of the most profitable narratives last cycle too. So if you say useless memes, I'm going to go ahead and say useless utility tokens, because guess what? If you have something that, you know, it works for a reason, right? It does something like, say, let's take actuator, right? That is definitely a utility token, and it does a very good thing. It solves a very important problem. Okay. Yes, we do need those. Absolutely. However, you can't just throw something out saying, oh, it's just a useless meme. It's not a useless meme. It is a subset of people. It's a culture of people who have gotten together, and they're loud as all hell. The louder the amount of people that you have, the more people look at your chain and go, huh, what's going on over there? What's this party all about? So when you have a party, people tend to want to join in. How is it that the prices are going up? It is only going to be going up because people want to join in. So therefore, memes are the most important thing. So everybody out there, we need to be memeing like crazy. We need to be loud as all hell.
I'll take it one step further, Nate. I'll say that everything's a fucking meme, bro. Like a meme is just a thing that occupies mind share and people recognize and they think about. It could be funny jokes, it could be a football team, it could be a political leaning, it could be some coin that was invented by some dude named Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Like if I were to hand a machine gun to a salamander, the salamander wouldn't know what to do with the machine gun. He can't make anything useful out of that. As far as he knows, it's just some useless piece of garbage. Like people will gather behind an idea. People will gather behind a series of, what's the word I want to use here? People will gather behind a series of like intangible things that represent something. If it's Bitcoin and it represents a campfire story that burns bright inside their heart of like, the government can't touch my money, then hey, like as far as the government, or as far as someone who doesn't care about Bitcoin is concerned, it's just memetics. It's just a whole bunch of like people telling campfire stories, people drawing dicks on the wall, or doing whatever, so something is only as valuable as people make it out to be. And the more people that decide something's valuable, take Dogecoin for existence, right? Like it's not something that is like, it's not something cool. It doesn't, I mean, it had product market fit, it it was relevant for the time being, but it doesn't do anything. Things don't have to do anything to be valuable. Hex doesn't need to necessarily be considered awesome because you can stake it and burn it and stuff. People could like the logo, people could like the color, people could like the fact that it's decentralized finance, people could like the fact that it's got 3 letters and it's really catchy, or it sounds like a fucking a witch's potion that she's going to cast on you or something, like to get you to do some behavior. People could like things for all sorts of different reasons. So brushing things off as a meme and kind of dismissing it is like, oh well, that's fine. You don't have to believe in it. Like, some people don't like hot dogs, some people don't like pickles on their hamburger. Not everything is for everybody. So like, if you're not interested in what's going on in the PulseChain, then I would encourage you to make something better, whatever that might be. Hop on a stream, or do some posting, or come and talk to me and tell me that I'm wrong, like respectfully, of course. Like, we're all going to be adults and everything here, but like, I'm I like anything that's engagement. Any attention is good attention. You know what I mean? There's that whole outrage marketing aspect that we could go into, but I think that any sort of thing of people saying your name is good. And if people are saying the name of PulseChain because there's memes going on, then great. We're getting market share and we're getting attention economy from it. So I'm all about it, and I think
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
fun.
The attention economy. That's what's really important, right?
Yep.
Because I mean, think about it this way, right? Maddie's out there. He's going. He's flat out. going out to all these Trump rallies, right? And I found it interesting because I was talking about before going out to New York how, you know, we really should be going to these Trump rallies and telling people about PulseChain, because ultimately PulseChain it's kind of interesting because all of us, and I'm pretty sure all you guys watching too, kind of believe in the whole idea of like freedom of speech, freedom of movement, right? Freedom to transact. And this whole thing is kind of blown up when it comes to Trump, right? Now, obviously, I'm not being like, oh, some political crap, right? I don't care about that. I'm looking at the types of people, right, who are supporting Trump. And the types of people have a tendency to be a lot like us, you know? And so what is it that they're missing that we have, though? Okay, it's this thing called PulseChain Hex, right?
Yeah.
That's what we have, because we have a brighter future. They're relying on someone like Trump to take over, basically.
To
Take
make
over
their future for them, you know. It's like, Daddy, come and save me. I'm not going to save myself with my own actions. I need someone else to do it for me. Is that the direction you were taking this?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I think what they're missing is they're missing the true, because they're still in the fiat system, so they're missing true money. And that's what we're doing here, is we're bringing in true money, you know. We're trying our hardest, and by the way, there's a lot of great creators out here, but we're trying our hardest to be able to change the system, so to say. Now, part of this goes into my theory that I've been looking at since 2023, basically literally last year, and I was the first one to ever quote this, was the governments of the world and the institutions of the world can't control Bitcoin. So what are they doing with it? They're building a fence around it. They're building a fence around it to try and control it as much as they possibly can. Okay, so I'm sorry, Bitcoin maxis, but it's a little bit late. You've been compromised. Okay,
Well, that's a
they
good
are
thing
now
why
going
like Hex was made, right? Is because they don't have like they're starting to surround the old things. They're starting to surround Bitcoin. I don't know how far they are with getting Ethereum, but like Bitcoin, it's like, yeah, there's ETFs. BlackRock's got a shit ton of it. Michael Saylor's got a shit ton of it. The US government's got a shit ton of it.
Yeah.
You know what they don't have? They don't have a lot of this cool new thing, Hex. And even if they did, we're gonna out inflate them over time by staking. Unless the government's staking alongside us, like we're going to have more of the I'm sorry, I shouldn't have cut you off. I wanted to interject that little point in there though. But
Don't worry
please
about it, bro.
continue where
Don't
you're
worry
going.
about it. We are conversating, man. How dare we conversate?
Yeah.
So yeah, this were okay. So Centurion 54, he actually has a great question here. What is the quickest, easiest way to onboard PulseChain? And what would your sales pitch be for non-crypto persons? I want to hear in the comments. I want to hear you guys. What would be your pitch? What would be like the quickest, easiest pitch for you guys? Okay. Now I can understand like maybe Hex is a better Bitcoin, but that might be a little bit, well, I don't know. Actually, I think that would work for the normal person if you think about it, because they'd be like, wait a minute, I've heard of this Bitcoin, but not Hex. I think that would actually work.
Can I tackle this one for a second while we wait for the
Please do.
folks at home
Go.
to right? Okay. Excellent. So my pitch would be is the first thing I don't do is I don't sell to uninterested buyers. I only sell to people who want to buy. So if I'm talking to a person and I come to realize that they're not interested in financial freedom and sovereignty and stuff, then I just like cut and run. You know, it's like that famous scene in, what was it, The Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, sell me this pen. And then the first thing that the Jonah Hill guy asks is like, okay, do you need a pen? Do you want a pen? And the dude's like, no, not really. And he's like, okay, well, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to waste my time trying to sell you this pen when you don't need it. So so first things first, you make sure that you know your audience. If they're not interested in getting sovereignty, if they're not interested in financial freedom, if they're not interested in decentralized finance, or like breaking out of the matrix, that's probably the thing that you can get them with. If you're looking to generate interest as someone who's like on the fence, be like, look, is the thing that you're in not working right now? Are you satisfied with your financial setup and the way that like banks work and the way that like money works and the fact that they can freeze your money and all that stuff? Are you happy with that? And then if they answer yes, if they answer no, then you know where to take it from there. But let's presume that they answer yes and they want to be onboarded. What I would do is I would take them to hexscout.com and I would go to hexscout.com/support. And then I would run them through the literal steps in that page, because The dudes at Hex Scout made a fantastic onboarding process. It describes everything, it gives all the information, and you can hop to different points in the onboarding process based on like what the people are interested in. If they only need a little bit of information and they're ready to rock and roll, then you can just skip to that part and show them how to onboard into Hex. It tells you how to like set up a centralized exchange on like Kraken, on Coinbase, on Binance, whatever, you know, and then it shows you how to onboard into ETH, how to use the native bridge, how to go over to hex.com and buy the Hex, or like go to Uniswap, or go to CowSwap, or 1inch.io, or go to PulseX. You know, ideally you'd want to get some Ethereum or some USDC on a centralized exchange, bridge that shit over into PulseChain, and do all the stuff over here where the transactions are cheaper. But if that's not an option, then and you want to do everything on Ethereum, then it explains how do you do that over there too. But hexscout.com/support is the way that I onboard people. It's super easy, super simple. And if they don't want the information, and if they don't want to know how to do stuff, they just want the end result product, then like it behooves you to do the steps for them, but to like kind of show them the process along the way, so that way they start getting their toes wet, they start becoming more financially free. And then, you know, you can set up a wallet for them and have them write down their own like security password, seed phrase, and then show them how to make their own wallets after that. That's one thing I did with my sister when I onboarded her, is I not only made a wallet right there in front of her, but I also like showed her how to make her own wallet, and then like handed the laptop to her and be like, okay, now you go to metamask.io, now you go to Rabby Wallet, now you go to Internet Money, and you make your own wallets, you make your own things, and like these are different things that you can do. And depending on how much information they need, depends on how much of the onboarding process you go with through them, you go through with them thoroughly, or how much you like, okay, well, let's just skip to the buy Hex and the stake it part, or let's just skip to the buy PulseChain and, you know, go and start a validator, or buy some PulseX and sit around and wait, or buy some ink and some, I don't know, PulseChain, and then throw it into one of the farms on PulseX or something. Like there's tons of things that you can do, but the idea is you need to be discerning enough to gauge where they're at as an individual, and then kind of like attack that with the highest efficiency actions as possible. And I highly suggest Hex Scout. Hex Scout is super duper easy. They have all the information right there. It's super nice. You can take them to hex.com as well. They walk you through a lot of the process over there too. I really like the Hex Scout interface personally, because like they have all of the links, they have everything. They have a portfolio viewer over there. They have a staking mechanism over there that will let you stake natively or stake HSIs. You know, if you want to be able to tokenize your Hex stakes and move it wallet to wallet, you can do that there too. They got so many tools over on Hex Scout, hexscout.com. That's super awesome. And like, don't take what I'm saying as gospel. Like, go check out all the Twitter pages for Hex Scout. Go check out your other vetted cryptocurrency influencers, and make sure that the links that I'm telling you are legitimate. Don't just go to it because I said so, right? Because I could be some asshole on the internet that's trying to scam you and take all your money. Now, obviously, I'm not, right? And everyone's going to say that, but like, you know, like freaking, you shouldn't trust anybody in the space at their word. You should trust them based on the way that their words align with reality. So don't just go out there blindly believing people. But that's how I would personally onboard someone, is I would take them to hexscout.com, and I would literally walk through the entire onboarding process, which they made super duper simple over there. Another thing that's really easy, shout out to BBK.bomb. He made a tutorial, like a YouTube playlist for onboarding people into crypto, where it like goes from zero to hero, from 0 to 1, like person knows nothing to person knows enough to be dangerous. So shout out to BPK Bomb, shout out to Hex Scout, shout out to hex.com, all the folks that are out there making fantastic onboarding process. Actually, shout out to Whitney Magic too. I saw recently that she brought together a whole bunch of people over over where she's at, I believe in Texas, where she just gathered a whole bunch of people together that were like cryptocurrency curious. And she gave a talk to them in her like living room, or in some venue somewhere. So I saw that on Twitter as well. Shout out to Whitney Crypto. Shout out to all these people out there onboarding. Hex Tam, fucking Wild
Maddie,
SJ, all the, what's
Maddie's
that?
doing a really good job. Maddie's
Yeah,
doing a
Maddie
really good job.
Allen. Yeah, shout out to fucking Maddie, going around to all these Bitcoin events and just being a nice, presentable person, talking about all the things that the Bitcoiners want to hear, and then like surreptitiously slipping in all of the Richard Hart talking points, and then like what Maddie does is absolutely brilliant. He builds rapport, he builds trustworthiness, he builds a sense of like, hey, we're on the same team. And then he starts talking about other things that he believes in. And because he's built this, like if you just go up to somebody and you start talking about things that you believe in without first like getting onto their terms first, then you're going to put people off as you approach them. So like you need to only approach people that you're friendly with, and you need to like be very careful about asking people to believe in something that you think is really important, but until you first provide them value, right? This is one of the things that Richard did when he was doing his outrage marketing. Is he would make people laugh, he would get the shock value, he would dress funny, he would do all the stuff that people like to see, and that's providing value to people. That's filling up the bucket of happiness inside of other people's minds before he would then talk about like, decentralized finance, and he would talk about hex, and he would talk about the financial systems being all wrong, and sovereignty, and personal betterment and health and all the stuff that's in sci-fi everywhere. What he did was he first solved people's problems that they had with no expectation of profit, with no strings attached, no nothing. The way that you get people into your funnel, into your world, into your frame, is you first provide value to them on their terms, and then from that point, then you can start interjecting and cleverly weaving in just little bits and pieces of your own stuff. If you go up to somebody, it's just like, like when you're dealing with women. If you just go up to a girl like first thing on a date, and you just walk up to her and you just like say, hey, I want to get married to you and have a bunch of children, you're probably going to turn her off. She's probably not going to
Fat
want
chance
that.
of
Going
that.
from 0 to 100, bro. Like people aren't going to like that. They're not going to like that at all. First thing you got to do is you got to make people feel comfortable. You got to make people feel loved and feel appreciated. You have to do the things that generate interest with them, right? You can't just show up and expect to have people on your team at first. So this is something to think about when you're onboarding other people: is solve their problems with no expectation of anything. It's man, we read a fantastic book on this on the Degen Roundtable Book Club 2 weeks ago called Debt by David Graver, where it talks about the way that humans work in most societies is they do favors for each other. It's the oldest currency in the world is debt, is his thesis of this book, David Graver's. The oldest
Oh,
currency in the
social
world
debt.
is debt. What's that?
It's called social debt. I do something for
Yeah.
you, and now you're indebted to me, right?
Exactly, but it's not like a negative type of debt. It's not like a, oh man, now like I'm your slave or something. It's like, oh, I have a feeling of gratitude. It's like positive debt. It's like it's good kind of debt. It's the debt that puts a smile on your face. It's like if your neighbor came over to your house and asked to borrow a cup of sugar, and you're like, oh yeah, I can spare a cup of sugar, no problem. And little did you know, but your neighbor also went over to like 4 other houses and asked to borrow like a cup of eggs and or excuse me, a pound of sugar, pound of eggs, pound of flour, pound of whatever. And then they went and they made some delicious pound cake, and then they went and shared it with all their neighbors. They've shown that they can borrow something, they can become indebted to someone, and then they pay them back more than the value of the thing that they gave them in the first place. And it's yeah. So anyways, when it comes to onboarding, the point is generate value for other people. And then after you've generated value from their perspective, and then after you've generated value from their perspective, then you're free to start, slowly putting in the stuff that gets them to like follow you and believe in the same things that you believe. It's just like religion. It's the same way as like proselytizing and evangelizing. You go out and you make people feel good, and you show them that you're living a good life, and you get them interested in the things that you're doing to the point where they start asking you, and yada yada yada. So anyways, all that to say, that's how I would onboard someone into PulseChain. And it takes a bit of effort, but that's literally, hey, that's proof of work, baby. That's proof of work, proof of stake. So that's how I would do it. How would do you have a system that you use for onboarding people, Nate? Have you had to deal with that at all at any point?
Well, I can tell you Fast Abdul's way of doing it. He
Uh-huh.
just says he just says say that if you buy PulseChain or Hex, you'll have a bigger dick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one way to do it. That's essentially that's the same thing that I said, but like really fast. It's like
Yeah,
0 to
because the
100.
the question was what's the quickest and easiest way to onboard on PulseChain.
I mean,
So here's
yeah, you
here's the
should be
here's the way that I
careful
would do
about
it.
giving people
It-
giving
right
people promises,
here for
but
anybody who's asking, okay, this is the way I would do this. I would
uh-huh.
simply say, hey, all right, so you do realize that you're losing purchasing power. Do you remember when the McChicken was $1?
Mm-hmm.
It's $4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine you had something where you actually kept that value. Imagine you had something that was outside of that rigged system where there's a lot of people who print this money for free and they don't care about you. In fact, they're using you as basically slave labor because you need to get that money and able to survive. All right, well, let's just exit that system entirely. Let's go over here to this place that literally everybody believes in freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of transacting. Everybody wants to live in what America originally was, which is I'm going to go live my best life. And you can go ahead and you go live your best life and you go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. And everybody can be happy.
Yep.
And then as soon as they're like, well, how do I get in? And see, this is where I have an issue. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. The onboarding of being able to get people in starts getting the confusing shit of, oh, well, you have to go get a private wallet. You have to do the MetaMask thing. You have to get the seed phrases. And by that point, you haven't even gotten past the wallet itself. And people are like, oh, this is a lot of steps. I think I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's why you gotta like man, one of the things that I really want to build, and I've spoken about this a couple times, and I'll have to do it when I'm wealthier because I can't hire a dev at the position of life that I'm in right now. But one of the things I want to build is I want to make an Amazon one-click buy for hex stakes. Like that's my vision is like you preload credit card information, you preload a wallet address that you want it sent to, and you click the buy button, and it essentially like I don't know, uses like 0x Coast or something to onboard money into PulseChain, and then it takes that money, it buys Hex with it, and it buys a little bit of Pulse for the gas fees and everything. It goes over to the icosahedron protocol or to the blockchain or to some DApp somewhere or something, and it creates a Hex stake instance, an HSI, which is a wrapped Hex stake. It tokenizes it, turns it into an NFT, and sends it to that wallet that you typed in the beginning. So it's like it's a bunch of steps, and basically like I can do it with my mouse.
Okay, so but we're talking about onboarding though.
Yeah.
People are not going to onboard with that. How do you
correct.
take a normal person, right? We need to look at that. How do you take a normal person? As soon as you start talking about the HSIs and the hex staking and all that, people get lost. You need quickest and easiest.
Yeah, so the reason that I want it to do all of those things at one click of a button is like I want there to be some way to get people in without like, oh hey, you have to sit through a bridge for 30 minutes. Oh hey, you have to go make a Coinbase account. It's like no, credit card, wallet address, click the buy button, and then boom, there's a like if you want a $250 fucking hex stake, then you click $250 button, you click the buy, and then it gets sent to that wallet, bazinga, and there it is, and like it'll obviously need somebody to walk them through the process of like, hey, like I'm going to like walk your hand through this point. But once people understand how, like, I mostly want this for me because I'm lazy and I don't want to bridge my money. I don't want to fucking spend all the time going through the process and clicking all the buttons myself. I want this tool for myself, but I think that it would be super useful to have an Amazon one-click buy button for hex stakes, and it just automatically Quattro Cinco stakes whatever the dollar amount that's denominated is. Right? Let's say it's like $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever. Maybe there's one for 100, there's one for 1,000, one for 10,000, one for 100,000, one for 1,000,000, or something silly like that, where it's just got a whole bunch of preset numbers. You select the size that you want. You click, you put in your credit card info, you click the button, and there's probably some fee because credit cards, cost money, and then there's slippage and whatever the hell, right? But I want this tool to not be like a profitable tool. I just want it to function
function as an onboarding tool, right?
Function as an onboarding tool. Yeah. I'm not looking to make money with this thing. I want it to be like a thing that has a net zero of profit or loss. So like it costs what it costs to run. And maybe there's some benevolent whale out there that just donates a whole bunch of pulse to make it like have gas for however long it needs to run, but like it needs to have some way of turning dollars into hex and then turning that hex into a stake and then sending it to a wallet. Right? Those are the things that I want this tool to do. It's just a super simple Quattro Cinco like hex staking thing, and it's like, hey, congratulations! Now you're locked in for 15 years, baby. You're a cultist just like me. You can emergency end stake it if you want, but you lose all your fancy valuable monies and everything. So like that's my vision. That's the tool that I want to make that it will, and it's not like anything fancy. It's not some brand new tech. Like I don't have any lofty dreams. I'm not fooling myself thinking that this is some super cool and awesome piece of tech that'll like change the world. But it's just like this is something that I kind of want because I'm selfish. And so, I'll probably see to it that it's made, and it'll probably cost me way more money to make it than it'll ever be worth. But this is a thing that I think would be nifty. And so like that's something that I'm going to aim to make at one point. So if any of you guys out there are devs and after I get rich, you want me to hire you, then I would love to hire somebody that's a super cool dev that can make these things. I know I've talked to Kool-Aid about it. I've talked to some other devs and whatnot. And it is a question of money for sure, because I don't have the finances to fund it because I'm not super wealthy right now. But one of these days, if I ever am, that's a tool that I would like to make. That's a thing that I think that would make me happy. I don't know if it'd make the ecosystem happy, but it would make me happy. So I'm going to do it. But yeah.
Well, I mean, that's really all you can do.
Yeah.
Just do what makes you happy, right? The issue that I've been noticing when it comes to onboarding is I'm trying to envision myself literally on the streets. Okay. So I go to the streets, I'm just walking, I'm having a good day. And I randomly just come up to somebody and we're sitting there at the stoplight. We're kind of going in the same direction, right? So it's like, okay, so I actually have some time to talk to this guy. Not a ton of time, but enough time, right? How do I onboard this guy? All right. So that's the question, and that's the problem we need to solve. So what I would like to have is something where I'm like, oh yeah, this thing is going to go 10,000x. Like if you're not in it, like stay poor, right?
Oh, like a little copywriting script that you can like, or maybe some bullet points or something, right?
No. What I want to be able to do is say, hey, this is something that you want to get into, and the person's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm just kind of giving a quick elevator pitch. And he's like, you know what? That actually sounds like a really good idea. I think I could throw a couple $100 into that because I need some kind of risk on asset, right? And so I'm like, cool. All right, he wants to get in. Now, walking down the street, what can I do? Really can't do anything. There's really nothing that we can do. Well, you're gonna have to use your ETH or buy ETH, or you're gonna have to go put in your credentials while walking down the street into Coast, and then that's gonna have to wait around for 7 days for it to be approved and all that. See, this is an issue, okay? Because you're still running into the same brick wall. This is too many steps, or I'll do it later, and then they forget and they never do it.
That's why I want the
same
one
issue.
buy, is because then there would be no like like easy out from things. Like people do avoid doing difficult things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to say, like, I agree completely, bro. People don't want to do things that take more than 2 or 3 steps, myself included.
Yeah, so you talk about a vision of something you would like, right? And you and I are in agreement that it's a one click, but I think you and I are in disagreement on what's more important, being the one click. You say the one click thing that you want is like a literal Quattro Cinco hex stake, right?
Yeah,
you
that's what I want.
That's you.
I'm literally just projecting. No,
okay, I got you.
Arguments.
Yeah, the way my brain works is like, okay, so how do people just get onto the chain itself, So as of right now, the tools we currently have, the only thing we can really do is PulseChain.com. Click the little MetaMask thing, and it instantly puts the RPC into MetaMask, and there you go. Okay, well, that's a start. If anybody is dabbling in crypto a little bit, you're either going to have a CEX, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the solution. Or it's going to be they already have like a MetaMask, that's going to be the thing. Well, okay, so how do you get them over to PulseChain in the first place? Because I think that's the true thing that needs to be solved here, is how do you get them smoothly and easily to PulseChain, right? And for everybody listening, I want you to try and be thinking with me here on trying to solve this problem, because the thing that I bring up is a real issue of just walking down the street. Hey, this will change your life, but you have to do all these steps with it. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
people, I mean, people don't want to do that. You know as well as I that the least amount of things somebody has to do to achieve a thing, they're more likely to do it.
Correct. 100%.
So yeah, that's what I would like. I would like, I would like something like Coast. I think Coast has probably done it the closest so far, where you literally put in your bank account stuff just like you would with any like E-Trade, right? Any stock thing, and you can immediately from your bank account immediately buy Pulse, right? I think that's about as close as you can get. But unfortunately, there's a lot of steps that have been happening with that now as well. Where you got to go to Wise now and do all that extra stuff and sending things around.
If there was a way to set up a credit card transaction that automatically like forwarded into Wise somehow, which then forwarded onto Coast and bought, which then like turns into USD, and you can buy Hex with USD straight off of Coast. You don't have to turn it into PulseChain. You don't have to do whatever. There's four cryptocurrencies that you can buy off of Coast, and it's Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, and I want to say the Weight token. I'm pretty sure it's Weight token. Shoot, now that I'm saying it out loud, I need to go check because I can't just be talking out of my ass here. But on Coast, you can buy. Let's see. You pay USD, and you can get PulseX, Hex, and Weight. That's correct. So the Weight token is what the native Coast uses for their for lowering your fees and things. So if you want to get like lower transaction fees, and use the Weight token. But excuse me, what I would like to see is like some way of just like interjecting like a credit card processor into Wise, that then like when you send that your money, then there's whatever the transaction fee is that takes that little bit away, and then it turns the rest of it into USD, and then just like a little bit of that is used to buy Pulse, and the rest is used to buy Hex, and then you have Hex in a wallet, and then you go and it goes in automatically Quattro Cinco stakes as an HSI and sends it somewhere. Like I do agree, like making something super easy for people to do would be the way to get in the normies. Now there's another question of like, do you want normies in the chain? It's like, I want to turn the normies into believers and holders. I don't want to get normies in that'll just get wrecked, right? Like if they're going to enter, then it benefits them to enter and wait. And I mean, if they don't, then they don't. That's their free decision. But like, when I first got into the Hex space, like the first thing that I did was I staked out Quattro Cinco. And then after I had spent all my money staking out and shit, I was like, oh fuck, now I need to actually like learn about this stuff because I'm stuck here for 15 years. So it's like putting that, and that's the reason
What a
that I
true
want to like,
degen over here.
yeah. So I want to give people the experience that I got, which was super effective in my understanding anyways. It's like, I was sold on Richard Hart being on the Fresh and Fit, the Fresh and Fit stream that happened in like August of 2022 or whenever it was, September of 2022. And then I was like, all right, this Hex stuff is cool. Sold all my Bitcoin into Ethereum, turned that all into Hex, went out and fucking just staked it immediately. And it was like, okay, well, now that I'm in, I should learn more about this stuff because this dude seems pretty cool. And it's time to like actually look at the way that all of this stuff works. But the first thing that I did was like, I basically chained myself to ecosystem for better, for worse. And I didn't see it that way at the time. What I saw is that I was essentially making the decision to offload my decision making to a contract instead of to my squishy gray brain, which is subject to chemicals. And when I don't eat at the right times, I get a little bit of hangry, and then if I'm
Are you
too
talking
hangry, then I
about
might make
emotions and
silly
those
decisions.
chemicals?
Yeah, it's like we're all subject to the firmware and to the software. So like I know that when I'm feeling sad or when I'm feeling happy, I'm going to make different decisions based on like the buy and the sell buttons. It's like I'm much less interested in clicking the buy button or in the sell button when the price is fucking way high, and I'm just like, woo, watch it go up, and then the price tanks, and I'm just like, oh damn, I wish I sold while it was up high. So it's like with Hex and with staking, what I did at the time was I was like, okay, I know that because I bought and sold Bitcoin at terrible times. My first 4 years in the cryptocurrency sphere, I was buying Bitcoin all the way up in the bull market, and then like Bitcoin started going down, and I didn't know that Bitcoin could even go down. I didn't know that was an option. And so like when that started happening, I was like, oh no, this is all gonna like go down forever and be terrible. And so like I bought the top and I sold the bottom, did like the worst things ever, lost a lot of money. But I recognized that I made the wrong decisions, and I didn't know why I made them wrong. But I knew that if I had a way of forcing myself to hold the Bitcoin for long periods of time, then over that long periods of time, it would be better. So when I saw that Hex had an opportunity for me to basically remove my ability to make bad decisions, I hopped right on that shit, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm staking this shit out for 15 years. Why the fuck wouldn't I? Because like I know that I'm gonna make wrong decisions, but if I like lock this shit up, then it's like I can't touch it and I can't make the bad decisions. So I'm saving myself from myself. So like that's how I saw it, and I would like to project that feeling that I had onto other people that also recognize that they make bad decisions all the time and give them an opportunity to make good decisions instead. So that's the reason why I want to make this super easy hex stake thing, is not only because I'm selfish, but also I want everyone else to feel the wonderful like sense of relief that I felt when I first got into it. And then like you can take your time getting into this stuff. You got 15 fucking years, right? Like I happen to like it pretty damn immediately. I started reading Sci-Vive. I started going to the courses offered by Charlie and Miguel. Shout out to DCC and Cultivate Crypto with their crypto mindset course. Those guys make some excellent teaching material. If you guys are new to the cryptocurrency sphere, you might as well go take their course and learn some stuff and just be part of like a really cool community of people that are all dedicated and whatnot. But yeah, like I think that giving people um something to look forward to and something to use would be pretty damn cool. And of course, I think that my ideas are the best, so I'm going to want to do more of them, and then also like give other people the opportunity to do my also all of my bad ideas. Oh, you can't see the bad. All of my bad ideas as well. So there you go. Fucking nothing but bad ideas out of this guy. So go and go and stick your hex out, Quattro Cinco, and then be a part of this super cool ecosystem, meet great people, shake hands, kiss babies, make friends all over the place. We made so many fucking friends over at the Richard Hart trial, bro. It was so fucking awesome. I freaking love it. It's been nothing but a great couple of weeks, great couple of days, this recent history.
Yeah, shout out to you guys, because that was a hell of a thing. So I need you guys to kind of understand where
Yep.
I'm coming
All the
from,
folks
right?
at home, y'all are the killers.
Yeah, for real. I am not necessarily a social guy. All right. And the fact that I'm even on camera is kind of strange. The way that Degen Roundtable sort of popped up itself is like it's kind of an enigma,
Mm-hmm.
and especially someone like me to be able to get on camera like this and start doing things. But then on top of it, you have someone like me go out, spend money to go out to New York and be a part of the community, and literally walk up to a bunch of strangers, right, and
Yeah.
just be like, "Hey, I'm Nate," you know.
Yeah.
And start talking with everybody. I remember Hex Monkey, he was awesome, right? Robert, like, man, the amount of people out there is it was great just to see everybody. And here's the thing that both Mrs. Magetta and I really, it made us really invested in this community. I
Yeah.
already knew the community was fantastic based on all the builders and all the passionate people. But
Mm-hmm.
when we went out there and we started meeting people, and everybody was just excited to be a part of it, right? A part of what was going on around us. And they were happy to meet a stranger, right? There were some people who knew me, right? And they actually wanted to get some photos. That was epic. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the other side of it is like, you don't know who I am. Who are you again? And it doesn't
Yep.
matter. You're a Hexagon, you're a Pulsegan. You are part of the family. You are part of this community, right? And they wanted to hang out with you. Every single time it was getting nighttime, it's like, yeah, we'll probably have to go back to the house, and we're gonna have to, go to sleep. Right. And it'll be nice, get some rest, blah blah. Then all of a sudden you'll get a message, or somebody who's over there is like, oh, we're gonna go do this thing. Come with us.
Yeah.
and next thing you know, it's 1 a.m, and you're like, oh no.
What have I done?
What
What
have
have
I
I
done? I've
done?
been having too much fun.
Man, it was some good times, some great people, bro. I
Yeah, it was
freaking love it.
fantastic. Yeah, you guys, I think you and Zenith accidentally almost got into the Halloween parade out there, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yes, we almost did. That was I'm not a fan of crowds. Zenith is not a fan of crowds. New York City on Halloween for the Halloween parade. Apparently, at the very end of 6th Street on the very southern side down in Soho or wherever it is, like southern Manhattan. Like that's where all the people gather to like participate in the parade and go up north and whatnot. And Zenith and I were over there because we were like, oh, 6th and Canal, that's like the bottom of the parade. That's where
Yeah,
like
you guys
all the
were
parade stuff's gonna
basically
be ending.
waiting for me.
Yeah, well, so we were trying to find a good spot to meet up with people, and there was a ton of people everywhere. But eventually, like, we caught up with you and Mrs. McGettit. We caught up with RG3 and SJ, and we had a great time. It was super fucking cool, man. It was super awesome. Before we get too far from the onboarding, I wanna go back and highlight some of these chats and things. So, Mrs. Producer, I'm gonna call out some timelines here and some people, if you wouldn't mind pulling up some chats at about 10 minutes past the top of the hour. Um, we've got, or excuse me, 11 minutes past the top of the hour. We've got Fast Abdul is commenting about how much is your bank paying you? Mine's paying 121% interest or 121%. Can you find that one? Yes. So back to the subject of onboarding tools. This is a good one-liner. If you ask your the people that you're talking to, like, hey guys, how much is your bank paying you to keep your stuff in savings? Oh, what's that? 0.5%? Oh, no kidding. Mine's paying 121%. Haha, psych. I am my own bank. So that's one way that you can get people into this stuff. So shout out to Fast Abdul. Right underneath that one, Mrs. Producer, is Heximofo. Wrapped hex stakes through hedrons are turned into NFTs and they could be sold on Amazon as a pre-made stake. This is correct. You can do that, folks. Just like you can sell an NFT on anywhere else, you can like go on Amazon probably and like write down on a piece of paper, like say, hey, there's an NFT like on the seed phrase on this piece of paper, and I'll fucking mail it to you or whatever. There's probably some way you can do it with smart contracts and stuff. But yeah, shout out to one mech Heximofo. You could totally sell HSIs on Amazon. You can sell them on OpenSea. You can sell them on fucking Facebook Marketplace. You can sell them all over the place. I freaking love wrapped hex stakes. They are so useful. Right underneath that one, Mrs. Producer, is Tin Top. My onboarding pitch is to explain that it's cheap and easy to make money while you sleep on PulseChain, and that seems to grab most people's attention. Most people in the West are interested in making money while they sleep because we recognize that like we're not going to be, we've only got 8 hours a day. So if we're not making money while we sleep, then we are not making money.
It's the thing. It's a bit of a buzzword, meaning passive income, right?
There is no
So
passive. It's just
yeah,
less active. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess it is passive income technically, but it's a
Yeah.
buzzword at this point. And so
Sure.
if you do say it, people will be like, "Oh yeah, really cool. How
It's
do
a
you do that?"
meme. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go. Make
yeah,
a
it's a
coin out of it.
meme.
And then it'll
It's a
probably
meme.
it'll probably fucking sell somewhere. Somebody's gonna make a coin out of it. I like it. He's got Tin Top's got another couple comments beneath that. If they understand the principle of earning compound interest instead of paying interest on the things they want, they can have more things in the long run. Absolutely right. And then one comment right beneath that one, Mrs. Producer. Once they have the desire to participate, getting them familiar with the technology is less of a barrier. They have to be inspired first. You're 100% correct. That's what I was talking about earlier, and I agree with you totally there. You have to answer the question of like why. If the people aren't interested in the why, then they're just simply not gonna want to do the stuff. So shout out to you, Tin Top, and to you, Mr. Fast Abdul, and also Heximofo. You guys are great. And then Greylock's coming in here at 18 minutes past the top of the hour, just underneath. Oh, actually, yeah, and I like fruits as well. So, Mrs. Producer, if you go back to where we were, have you heard of Hex? It's better Bitcoin. You might get some people with that. Some people might believe you. They might be interested, but Bitcoin's got a lot of zeitgeist is the wrong word. It's got a lot of mental market share. People know what Bitcoin is. People don't necessarily know what Hex is. So like if you say that Hex is a better Bitcoin, people have probably heard that there's a lot of things that are a better Bitcoin. So you might have a bit of it could work, but like it might not get you all the results that you wish. And then directly underneath that, Greylock says sell them on a 5 to a 10x more reasonable. You could also mention that like this coin in the ecosystem, this token Hex did a 10,000x on its last all the way bottom to all the way top. So that's a pretty relatable thing as well. If people like making lots of money, then then if you'd have bought the bottom, sold the top, which I don't know who did that, if anyone did it, but like most likely you're not going to buy the exact bottom and sell the exact top. But that sort of thing is the idea. Mrs. Producer, at about 9 minutes past the top of the hour, Robert Saunders said, "Yes, you sell feelings," and I gotta say that like it's partially correct. Oh, and shout out to your little profile picture as well, Solar. All praise the sun. I fucking love it, bro. So that's a good game, and I don't know a whole lot about Dark Souls, but I like your little profile picture there, broski. But you do have to sell the feelings, right? You have to like people don't remember the things you say; they remember the way that you make them feel. And it's up to you to be a benevolent person that uses that power for good only. It's kind of like what Jordan Belfort was saying in the book of the Wolf of Wall Street book, The Way of the Wolf. It's like when he teaches people the techniques of salesmanship, he says you have to like use these to help people. You shouldn't use this. You shouldn't use salesman techniques to take things away from people. You should use it to enable people to get their goals accomplished. So you do have to sell a feeling, and that's all of life. Is you have to sell people the feelings when you tell your dad that you love him, that you appreciate him, like raising you and stuff. You're being genuine and you're selling him a feeling. When you tell your teacher, hey, thank you for teaching me at school, like you're selling her a feeling. When you tell your kids, like, hey, I'm proud of you, good job, like swinging the baseball bat and getting the home runs, the kid's not interested how much of his stacks that you've tracked. He's interested that you're making him feel good, and that like you're recognizing the work that he's doing, and like leading him around in the right direction. So everything in life is about selling feelings. Even when you're dealing with your boss at work, like if you tell them all the numbers and you don't give them like inspiration, then they're not going to give you the raise, they're not going to give you the promotion. So like everything in life, every human interaction that you ever do, you're better off working the feelings angle and maximizing making other people feel good in life, um, for getting both what you want and helping them get what they want. You'll be way more effective targeting the feeling sector rather than the logic and the reasoning sector. Just look at any advertising campaign. you know they make you laugh, they make you angry, they make you feel FOMO, they make you feel sad or whatever, whether it's Sarah McLachlan like singing about like, oh man, all these puppies are dying, you should donate your money, or like some like bounty commercial that's like, oh, look at this doofus, he spilled all this Kool-Aid all over the couch and now we have to clean it up with bounty paper towels or whatever, right? Like they're
I'm
selling
not
you
gonna
a
lie, they're
feeling.
pretty much doofuses in those whole things, and they go like
Yeah.
black and white, and they're just like
Yep.
falling over.
Yep.
This
Oh
never
man,
happened
those
to you.
black and white commercials,
Oh no!
all those infomercials, those are the best, bro. Where it's like, oh, I've sat down with my bowl of popcorn and it exploded everywhere. So buy my new popcorn lid to just keep the popcorn inside the bowl, or whatever the infomercial thing is, man. Like it's super awesome. So when you're getting people into like the hex space, you have to sell them the feeling of like whatever it is that they need, like whatever problems they need solved, you need to help them in that direction come to the realization that what they're doing isn't working, and like they need to do new things. And you have to believe it as well. If you don't believe it, then don't go try and sell it. You have to believe the stuff that you're selling. I'm not going to buy a hamburger from a vegan, and I'm not going to trust like, the computers that Mark Zuckerberg sells when he tapes up his own webcams and everything. So it's like there's some you have to believe in what you sell. If you're a car salesman and you only ride bicycles, then it's like you're doing it wrong, buckaroo. So you got to believe in what you're selling, and you also have to do a good job attacking the feelings and everything. Do you have any more thoughts, Mr. Nate McGet? I'm pretty burnt out as far as like topics of conversations and things. So if you have something, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, actually, no, it's a question for you. So
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking, right, and I know my answer, obviously,
Hmm.
right, but I'm selfish, so I want to ask you first.
Sure.
So, what is it you're looking forward to in 2025? Because think about it, right? The SEC, this whole court thing is it's so stupid. I can almost guarantee that we're gonna win it, easy peasy, right? We got Trump in office now, and things just seem to be going right, and we're hitting that banana zone now. What is it that you're looking forward to this coming year?
Oh man, so I could answer this from a personal perspective. I could answer it from a crypto perspective. I could answer it from a worldwide economics perspective. I'm inclined to go with the personal perspective, but which of those answers do you want to hear?
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's start it off as personal. Okay.
Okay.
and then we're gonna move into as far as crypto goes,
I
and
am
maybe they're the
interested.
same thing.
I am interested in getting to do more of the stuff that I love to do. We've got my personal my the company that I work for. I'm an iron worker, by the way. For those of you guys that don't know, I climb TV. I call myself an iron worker because nobody knows what a TV tower technician is. But I stack TV towers, those 2,000-foot tall things with the big blinky red lights and the wires that hold them in place and everything. I destack those bitches. I do maintenance on them and all sorts of stuff. And we haven't done a proper stack or destack for the last like 2 years. So I'm super stoked to go be a skyboy again, where I can be like up high in a tower proper for like months at a time. Like it's different going and climbing a tower to do a light bulb change, or to go like plug in some wires and stuff, or tighten up a guy wire, or fix an elevator or something. But like getting to stack or getting to destack an entire tower, that shit's super awesome. So that's something that I'm like very personally looking forward to. Another thing I'm looking forward to is presuming that crypto stuff goes well, and I make some decent money to the point where I can buy my time back and I don't have to work for money. I'd still like to do the same stuff that I'm doing. I just wouldn't need to be as like hungry to go to work. So like I can afford to take time off. I can afford to, go 6 months, a year without any jobs lined up or anything like that. I would like the ability to be like, hey, I don't need to work. I want to work. But with that like financial freedom comes the opportunity to go and start and consider like building a family and stuff. So that's something that I'm looking at doing, is going around and traveling more and vetting more women and seeing like what kind of people fit into my life and are interested in following the path that I'm going down, and helping me accomplish the goals that I want, and finding ways to bring more life into the world. So that's something that I'm looking forward to on a personal and professional scale, is because right now I'm not financially set for having children. I mean, I probably could if I wanted to, but like I don't want to bring kids into this world until I know that I could like raise them from start to finish without having to worry about finances and things. So like I don't want to live like paycheck to paycheck or something, but that's something that I'm looking forward to, is getting to do what I love professionally. Um also meeting more Hexicans. I'll say that definitely fits into the perspective, as well as I'm taking time off and I'm traveling around. I'm getting to meet more people and I'm getting to shake more hands, kiss more babies, like go and break bread with folks, and share drinks, throw axes, go on walks in the woods, do whatever the hell. The real valuable thing in life is people, right? It's people first, goods and services next, and then like finances after that. So like if you can solve those three things for people, then you're in a really great spot. So I'm stoked to do what I love professionally. I'm stoked to hang out and meet new people. I'm stoked to build a family. I'm stoked, or at least have the prospect of building family, because who knows? Maybe nobody decides that like this is someone that's worth having children with. But I think I'll be able to at least snag one or two in there or something like that. But anyways, those are things that I'm interested in, as far as the personal side goes. What were the other ones that I had said? Uh, like economically.
Do the crypto side now. So as
Cool.
far as
Oh,
crypto
crypto
side,
side.
what are you looking forward to?
Yeah. I am super stoked to be selling some of the tops and buying more of the bottoms. I think that I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen in 2025, but I'm ready if it does. And if the top never comes, then okay, well, I guess I'm stacking dry powder for longer then, and buying more of these delicious juicy bottoms for however long they're with us. I'm always down to stack more T-shares. That's always something that I'm interested in. Cryptocurrency related wise, once like I had told you before, once I acquire enough capital through either like manipulating materials around the world with my own two hands and earning money the old fashioned way, or cryptocurrency way. Once I get enough throwaway money, then I would like to, like I was telling you earlier, start my little Quattro Cinco a one click buy button project thing. So that'd be something that I'm looking forward to. um I think that Richard Hart's probably going to blow the SEC out of the water. Part of me is really stoked for how well the case went. A part of me is kind of sad, because I would love to see real courtroom like precedent set and like real law happen as a result of the SEC being a doofus. And I would love to see them get smoked and lose at trial. That's something that I would love. And like nobody wins in that scenario because it's the American taxpayer dollars that are paying the SEC's bill. They're not going out there and like, raking leaves and picking up cans to earn the money to fund the lawyers and whatnot. Like they're not doing that. They're just going to write a bill and they're going to say, "Hey, US Treasury, we need this much money because we fucked off for too long." But I would love to see the SEC take some real losses in the crypto sphere, and I would love to see them eat a slice of humble pie so that way they could realize that like, oh snap, perhaps we need to like not be so retarded when it comes to cryptocurrency, or not be so lame, or so whatever word you want to call it, right? Like that'd be something to be awesome. So if the case gets dismissed, I'm super happy. If the case does not get dismissed and goes to trial, I'm also happy because I'm positive that we're going to smoke them in either scenario. And so I'd love to see some precedent set, and I'd love to see all that stuff happen. Um, what else is happening in crypto that I'm super excited about? I mean, that's
you are the
pretty
first mate now,
Yeah, I am. I guess I'm the first mate of the Discourse Syndicate. I would like to buy a boat. That'd be pretty cool. A nice, good, square rigged ship. I don't know if RG3's got his sea leg still, or if he's more interested in the retirement chair than than the active at sea chair. But I would like a boat. That'd be pretty cool. I'll carry the torch. It'll be fun. It'll be great. What about you, bro? What are you looking forward to? What's some stuff that's on your horizon? I'm gonna flip your same question back on you.
Oh no, what a terrible thing,
Yeah.
even though I asked the question first. So for me, here's the thing. Now, as at the top of the show, you asked, "Oh, how has your birthday been going?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, well, since I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's been nonstop work. And yes, I'm calling streaming work, right? Because this is something that I'm doing. I'm trying to provide, some value
Yeah.
for everybody out here who's watching us, right?
Sure.
And uh so, and then when I got home, I tweeted off a ton of things, which by the way, Ascending Man 369
Oh
on
yeah.
X, go ahead, give me a follow there. I put out a lot of information there, guys, and it's definitely stuff that you can use to go up in the wealth
Yep. Yep.
of Hex and crypto. But with that being said, I am looking forward to being able to buy back my time.
Mhm.
I right now, like I like what I do. Okay. I do like what I do. However, if I had the choice to buy back my time, I would not be working. The reason why is because there's other things I would prefer to do. You could call them hobbies or whatever, but I've
Yep.
probably got about 5 of these things that I would prefer to become very well adjacent in, as of right now, I have my job and I have one of these hobbies I can focus on, just one. And the
Sure.
one that I currently have is crypto, right?
Mhm.
And so if I had the ability to have 8 to 12 hours back every single day of my life, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
then be able to at the very least do 3 or maybe even 4 of these, right?
Sure.
Something like music. I would love to be able to do music, but in able to do music for a day, I would have to give up all the information, studying, and research that I do with crypto,
That
right?
is, yeah, that's part of the price to be paid, my friend.
It's part of the price, and that's the reason why I do look forward to being able to buy back this time, because I'm always going to be nonstop working, but it depends on what am I working on. So there's that. But there's another thing too, and I've done a little bit of it this year, where let me just tell you guys, right? I work a lot. In fact, I work so much that I've only ever had one vacation in my life. Well, as of this year, I had a whole Great Lakes tour. I literally drove around all the Great Lakes all the way out to New Hampshire to go meet this guy for the first time. This this
Yeah.
asshole.
I'm in that
Literally,
house right now, bro.
yeah, you're at the house right now too, which
Yeah.
is cool.
It's
Um,
nice.
so that I would, and then obviously I went to New York, okay, and that was twice in 1 year, right? Rather than once in 20 years. So yes, I would like to be able to go out and start meeting people, right? Meeting people, but also just going out and experiencing what's out there in the world. Because that's one thing that I've noticed about, like going to New York. I just go out there, I want to experience it, but I can also experience it with folks like you epic, you epic people, you. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, and that is going to be happening next year, probably more, and the year after, and it's going to be a continued thing, right? as far as crypto goes, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to be appearing. And I also look forward to the green candles. For those who don't know about my past, I started in 2021, okay? Late 2020, which means top of the bull market, okay? That's where I started in crypto. And obviously, I put in way too much money and I flat out got scammed. Okay, it's not just like, oh, I put all my money in and then it went down. No, like I legit lost it all, okay? So, yeah, right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it feels like to have bought in the bottom and then just watching the green candles go up, because I don't know that feeling yet. And you know what? It's going to be fantastic when it does happen. I can almost guarantee that it's going to be happening with Hex, with the PulseChain ecosystem. Richard Hart clearly has a very good plan set out. I think some of these plans are a little bit deeper than I think a lot of you understand. The base level understanding right now is that Richard Hart and Godwell have 320 or 340,000 ETH sitting around waiting to be rotated into, or vampiring off of Ethereum, waiting to be rotated into PulseChain. I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think it needs to be. I think there's more complicated things going on that are going to be happening. In fact, this ETH might have something to do with pegging PDI to $1. Is it going to get pegged? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point.
I've got my little sticker I've got right here.
There we go.
This is just for fun, folks. I think this is fucking hilarious. But look, it's
there it is,
with like a little one die with the Quattro Cinco, fucking and then there's another Quattro Cinco over there.
Hell yeah.
That's just fucking funny.
There is that, but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of other complicated things going on. When you look at the community in whole, you know, there's a lot of builders who are building out, you know, guardrails. Like I said, I'm always going to stick to this. I was the first one to say it, and I'll say it again. PulseChain is a city, okay? Ethereum is a city, right? Ethereum just happens to be a bigger city. And then, but PulseChain, it's a city. It started off as nothing more than just a shack in the woods called Hex. That's all it started off as. And you know what came out of that? Well, Hex started growing, you know, the shack became, you know, an actual building, an actual house, right? And then we have Hedron and Icosa, and that added a bunch more layers to it. And so now all of a sudden it's becoming like, hey, this is almost like a financial building now. Cool. And then from there we have Actuator, we got Commus, we got some other ones that are kind of coming around it as well. Ooh, hello. Look at me my thing. But at this point, it's starting to build up like a skyscraper, level after level after level after level, and it's each one of these sits on the baseline. The baseline is Hex, right? And it's an absolutely fantastic idea because, hey, the tallest building in the city that is PulseChain is the Hex building, and that Hex building is a financial center.
The Burj Hex Khalifa.
Yeah, Burj Hex Khalifa, the financial center of the world, and all we're doing is we're building on it, you know, and then when you look at all these sub communities, right? You know, Tangang, we got a Tropa, you know, we got the P Stables, right? We got the
Alien guys.
Yeah, aliens. We got aliens in our city. We got fucking aliens, man.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at that, it's like there's all these different sectors of the city itself, you know, and they all function to make this city, the GDP of this city more, you know. It's a really interesting and cool idea, and I love watching it evolve because everyone here is super early to this city. If you could imagine being in New York City, thank you, Tin Top.
Yeah.
If you could imagine being in New York City, though, when it was nothing but just, you know, a couple of like 3 or 4 story buildings, and look at it now. It is a huge city. It's a financial center of the world. Like, this is where we're going. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I like fruits. We got the Poke Center now. The Poke Center is a new one. That's a newer one. That's an entertainment center for the city.
Bunch of memes, bunch of people making cool things.
Yep. Yeah. You know, so everybody needs to be bullish on what's happening. It's not because, oh, it went up and then it went down. No, that was that was the one time that we had a rush of people come in, and they're like, oh, but it's only a shack here. That's not enough. Anyways, let's go back to the Ethereum city. And then PulseChain starts getting built out and it becomes more of a city. Now that rush is going to come back in. And only this time, oh, wow, there's an entire city here now. You see? People are going to start sticking around because they want to be in the city. That's what they want to do. They don't want to go out to a single shack and then be like, wait, I'm going to set up shop here. They don't really care about that. They care about the city itself. I can go ahead and I can get myself an apartment. And then from the apartment, I can walk down the street and go to the Poke Center. You know, like that's the deal right there. People want to stick around because of that stuff, you know. So that be bullish on PulseChain. I know I'm a hella bullish. Just think about man. Think about the city.
I like it. I like it. I love the city analogy. That's a good one. All right, Nate, it's time for us to start wrapping this bitch up. We've been on stream for a long, long time. These folks at home have had enough of us yapping and whatnot. Where can the folks find you, and what have you got coming up in the near future, my friend?
So what I've got coming up is actually I've got a lineup of people for my Ascending Tech show on the Ascending Man YouTube, which it is not this one. It is actually it's my own little creative corner. It's just the Ascending Man, right? The same sort of thing as my X. You can find me on X. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. Just the Ascending Man. I'm going to be doing a bunch of shows. Basically, this is Ascending Tech is I'm diving deep into the technicals of projects, coins, things like that, right? By the way, if you do have one of those, go ahead, just hit me up on Telegram. I'm in a lot of basically every single chat that you guys are in as well, but also the Degen Roundtable community chat. You absolutely need to get in there. Whenever there's a lot of people who have questions, and we always answer them in there. And in fact, there's a lot of people who have flat out kind of just wanted to leave. You know, they feel like they were just, you know, beat up throughout the entire bear market, and they just wanted to leave. And we discussed things kind of like how we discussed here today. We discussed with them about like, hey, it's probably not a good idea, you know, hold the line, you're going to be good. And they're still with us here today. And in fact, with these green candles currently, they're like, now I see what you guys were talking about. So get into our Telegram. It is a big deal. So yeah, but that's what I got going on. I'll be on the Sunday show. I found some really cool things. It looks like a real world purchasing is happening institutional wise with crypto. So that's really awesome. But other than that, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and hand it right over to you because you are correct. It is kind of a late night.
Yes, it is indeed. All right. For the folks at home who want to find me on any of my socials, you guys can find me at will.pls.fyi. All of my socials are linked from there. As far as what's going on in the near future, I want to do a quick moment to shout out the Hexagon IRL meetup chat that I created over in Telegram. It is bit.ly/hex_meetup. You can also do t.me/hex_meetup. Both of them work. The bit.ly one, though, will take you to a very specific message inside of that Telegram where it explains to you how to go through the Telegram and how to use it to maximum leverage to best go about meeting other people and having the best times and things of that nature. So again, bit.ly/hex_meetup. That's where you go. And make sure that you guys check out what a wild SJ and RJ3 are up to, right? You guys can find them on x.com/Captain RG3 for him and x.com/a wild SJ for her. And then also check out the PulseChain Tour events that are going on. I know that the next event that's going on, to the best of my knowledge, is the PulseChain Tour 369 event over in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that will be going on from March 6th through 9th next year, 2025. Again, that's March 6th through 9th, 2025. So
We will be
you
there.
guys, yep, I'll be there. Nate will be there. Zenith will
Come
be
visit
there.
us.
I'm
Say
sure that
hi.
yes. Yeah, make sure to swing by and say hi, and we'll do some irresponsible degenning. Mrs. McGettit will also be there as well. Good to see we got thumbs up for that. Awesome possum. So that's going on. If you guys want to get a discount for tickets to that event, then when you go to that website, you can use promo code DGen, or you can use promo code RG3. I'm not sure what the captain's promo code is, but I know that ours is promo code DGen. So that one you can use for a fact. You can try RG3 for his. I'm pretty sure that's their promo code as well. So if you guys want to support the Discourse Syndicate voting, then use promo code RG3. If you want to support the Degen Roundtable, then use our promo code. I don't think that we get any kickbacks or anything cool from it, so it's just a cool fucking little it's a little vanity metric. Right now, I think that we are really close in the running against Axis Alive. I think he's got like 1 or 2 more ticket sales using his promo code than the Degen Roundtable does. So
No,
you can
we're
use his
we're
code if
still
you want
leading
to.
by a little bit. It's the opposite, and it flipped
Oh, it
that.
is? Oh, we're beating
But
him?
hey,
Okay,
keep us
we'll
in
go.
the lead, okay?
Yeah, keep us in the lead. And if you don't like us and you don't like what we're doing, then by all means go ahead and use Axis code. But yeah, we're competing with Axis. So use DGen if you want us to win. If you want Axis to win, then go use his code, whatever that might be. But anyways, we want to let you guys know that we love and appreciate you and everything of that nature. So I normally do a copywriting read for the end of our shows, but I'm going to switch up the words that I say because we are on the FN Hangout on Discourse Syndicate. So Mrs. Producer, uh, do we have? I think that Mrs. Producer, can I get a thumbs up from you on Nate's screen if we have access to play the advertisement that Zenith made? I don't know if we have that one or not, but that would be a cool thing to end the show with if that's appropriate. I don't know if we have it while we are in their StreamYard account. We do not. Okay. Well, no sweat. Either way, you guys already know the promo codes. Use promo code DGen or promo code RG3 to get a 20% off discount for those PulseChain Tour Conference tickets. Those are, again, March 6th through 9th. This promo code is only good for another 11 days. So on November 20th, this promo code, or shoot, it's either November 20th or November 15th. Now I don't remember. So whichever one it is, get your tickets now before the promo code stops being worth only 20%. After that date, it'll drop down to some other number, maybe 15%, maybe 10%, maybe 3%. I don't fucking know what the new percent's going to be, but you can only get 20% off for the near future, and it's up to the 15th. So there you guys go. That is the information. Now, time to read the end of show copywriting. Oh, and also go check out the Degen Roundtable over at youtube.com/@Degen Roundtable. It's in Nate's name right down there. You can't miss it. You'll have a good time. We stream every Wednesday, every Friday, and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Right before the captain goes live, we actually do our book club. So this is whenever we do this, it's usually a 4 hours of nonstop streaming for the Degen Roundtable fellows. But anyways, that's not important. What is important is that I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with us here on the FN Hangout with the Discourse Syndicate. As Agent J of the Degen Roundtable often says, we know that time is your most precious asset, and we appreciate you investing it right here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Will Stevenson, but more importantly, you have been watching the Discourse Syndicate's FN Hangout. And Mrs. Producer, go ahead and get that trigger figure ready because it's time to remind all the folks at home to remember to degen responsibly.